Broken things can become a blessing if you let God do the mending. Welcome to Broken to be Blessed Network, where dynamic women will share their experiences that will inspire, and experiences that have turned out to be a blessing. Now here's your host, Samantha McNeil.
The transition phase from being single to being married can be, I've heard persons who say like, well, it was a big shocker. And we have mentioned it here tonight. And there's a thing that says, see me and live with me is two different things. So what was the transition phase for you? Being from single into married and now becoming the woman of the house and leading everything and doing everything and setting and being in charge of the woman's department in your house. Go ahead, Glennis.
Oh, Lord. The transition for me, to be honest, it wasn't a bumpy one. It was smooth for me. I must tell you all, I was looking forward for marriage. I envisioned being married. I planned it out in my head. I am just being honest. I just know I would get married, Samantha. I know I was going to be a wife. I know I was going to be a mother. Trust me, talk to God a long time about these things. But I knew I had to get my education first. I'm telling the truth. I planned it out in my head. I say, Lord, I want to get married at 22. I want to have my first child at 24, and it happened. I want to have 2 children, but that never happened. What 3 we get? So it don't really work out, you know, as you want it. Yes. But honestly, I was looking forward to marriage. Probably because I was growing up with my parents being married for, I would say my father didn't pass away last year. To be 50 years of marriage. So you see, I had the example set for me. So I grew up in a stable home. I saw what married life is all about. I saw how my dad treated my mom, or my mom took care of my dad, and you know, the whole work. So I had something to look forward to then, Samantha. So I knew I was going to be a wife one day. I'm telling the truth. So the transition, I'm telling the truth, it was smooth for me. However, becoming a wife and now living with my husband, you know, I had to learn a lot of stuff now. You know, because I know it's just both of us are taking care of my husband, because it's not like some persons who are single and they live alone, they live on their own. That didn't happen for me. I was at home with my parents. So it was from home into marriage, you understand me? So it was not rough for me then, but I would say to you though, in the early stage of my marriage though, we had a rough time, because at the time with my husband had a tragedy. And that tragedy has changed my life significantly. And let me tell you the truth, as a wife. So when that tragedy happened, where my husband lost quite a few of his family members in a fire, I don't think I can talk about it. I had to learn how to minister to my husband so young in the marriage, just married just 2 years, almost 2 years, so young, and learned how to be quiet, not to speak, and just to pray. I had to learn these things early, and that molded me into a better wife today. You understand me? Because when my husband was going through that period of time, he was going through depression. He didn't speak with me. He didn't sleep with me, and all of that. And that was rough for me. He wasn't even attending church for a while. And I remember my bishop and my church family was always there for me and saying, Sister Joy, don't worry, you know, your husband is going through a rough time. Just be there. And I learned from early, Samantha, to be still, just to be quiet. And I just prayed for my husband. And when things turn around and he finally started to speak with me, I remember he said to me, thank you for just being there and just being still. Can you imagine if I was that nagging wife then? I mean, so many things would have happened.
Yeah.
So I learned from a young bride, learn how to be silent, when not to speak, and just to pray for your husband early. So, you know, as the marriage, you know, went on and so many years now, it grew me, you know, as a better wife, how to minister to my husband. So the transition, it was smooth, but in the early part, that is the part that was most difficult for me. so early in the marriage. But I thank God because it has allowed me to be a better person than than before. Yes, that's all I have to say on that.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's deep and it's real because getting married, you never know what the challenges will be.
Yes.
And I know that will help somebody right there
Yes.
because you get married young and then something does hit and
Yes.
a lot of persons don't make it through that rough phase. As
Right.
you
And the
mentioned,
funny
what
thing,
if you had been a
yes.
nagging person while
Right.
you wanted peace
Right.
in that
Right.
in that
Right.
in that in that that state?
Right.
So
Yes.
yes, it's really something to really to think on and to really hear you talk about this evening. Wow.
Trust me, I have learned a lot because I remember even at the altar, God is such a good God because at the altar, I remember when the bishop was doing the vows and everything. I remember when he was through, he said, "Look at her, you are married, that's a beautiful bride. But guess what? You don't know what tomorrow holds." And I'm like, when the Lord reminded me of that, and He says, "See, you don't know what." So you on your day, you're glowing, and you're excited about the wedding and all the excitement, but you don't know what the future holds. You understand me? And him just saying that, I didn't know what it holds. I didn't know that was going to happen. So I'm just saying that God is good, and marriage is really a journey. It is really a journey. Yes.
Oh, thank you again, Glennis, for sharing that with us. Go ahead, Nicola.
Right, so my transition wasn't so smooth because I started working very young, independent. I have my own money. I never asked. Um, I have my own things and I'm an independent person. And now I'm going to go into a union and I'm going to have to depend or not really depend. We have to operate as one. So when I got married, I think it was all right. I still can, do my own thing. And if I wanted anything to buy, I just go ahead and I spend my money because guess what? I'm a whole big woman from a long time and I've been making my money from a long time. So I don't really have to ask anybody for anything or, my dear, that didn't work quite well because, you go into a union, it's a two I want to know. It's not only you alone anymore. So then in the marriage, I had to learn because I was living at home, after I finished school, still living with my mom and my dad. I never go on my own yet in my life. So I didn't know what going on my own, was all about. And I know I am married and I was thinking that a lot of things was expected of me and I didn't know what was expected of me. And I was like getting cold feet and I was saying, boy, how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that? But guess what? Sometimes we can't look at the whole picture. We have to just take it one day at a time. And in my marriage, I asked God to be in the center, be at the forefront. There is no perfect marriage. There is no perfect marriage, not on this world, no perfect marriage. And I remember, because I used to rely on my mom for everything we tell my mom, And remember when you're married, you have to sort out your own thing. No, you can't be running to mommy and running to daddy. So our first dispute, I run to my mom and I, was saying to my mom, such and such and such, never you do that in your marriage. That was the first and the last time that happened. He was so upset. That was like 3 years in my marriage. I thought he was going to pack up and go. He was so upset. He said, whatever we have, let us resolve it together. And I've learned that in my marriage, that whatever we have, because they said teeth and tongue will meet. Whatever misunderstanding that we have, we always try to resolve it. And I always get this counseling. Never you go to your bed upset with your husband. Never, ever, 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 ever. And we have learned that whatever, sometimes even, there might be something that comes up and I leave out of the house. But by the time I got to work, I'm on the phone, I'm calling him. And then we make up. We have never gone over the 22 years. We have never, ever sleep head and toe or go to bed with a disagreement. We try to resolve it. And that's why God, it's good when you know God. And it's good when God is in the relationship with you. And when there is a misunderstanding, you don't run go to Ishi and the old lady to tell your problems to. Talk it out, right? Resolve it there and then, because the moment you keep something up, the enemy is going to put a lot of stuff in your mind. And when it starts to move in your mind, you are going to find persons to talk it to, and you might say the wrong thing. But when you talk to your partner about what the problem, don't wait until next 5 hours. I've been there and I've done that. If there's a problem, you see him do something and you don't like it, I said, honey, you know what you did and what you said, I didn't like it. And we talk about it and resolve it from there. And we move on. And wife, the making up part is the best part of it, I love the making up
Hold
part.
on, don't jump the gun yet. Hold on, because I have a wonderful question for you, the bonus. So don't go over it yet. So I want you to tell. So you said that the transition phase for you would have been a little bit because you there were some things that you probably didn't know at first, but then in the end you learn that there are some things that you don't do if you want to survive in your marriage.
Right, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Thank you very much for that. All right, Camille, go ahead.
Okay. For me, the transition was firstly, honeymoon didn't have much honey in it because we are both virgins. So what we see on TV, at least as Christians, we don't watch pornography and all of those things. So of course you're just experimenting, trying out with each other to see. It should be exciting. Everybody is telling you, sometimes persons are not so honest with you about what to expect. So you have the wrong expectation, and then you realize it's not as nice as you thought it would be, just to get through the initial stage. So I mentioned that because for Christians who don't engage in sex before marriage, a lot of times that is not discussed in church. So as a
Yes.
result of that,
So
that
true.
is the number one issue that some persons face, other than financial issues, communication issues, and the whole thing of how both of you are raised in different families, and therefore now raising your kids, both of you have two different thoughts of how you're going to be raising your kids. So a lot of that, to me, affected my transition because of the fact that I now have to understand where he's coming from. I was grown in a home that we are hugging and I love you and all of those things. And he was grown in a home that they don't say I love you. They don't hug, but yet their action showed love towards each other. So it was two different ways in which we were raised, and now both are coming together. And it only could take the Holy Spirit to really have us join together and raise a family together. So the transition for me, being raised in a home where, as I said, my father died when I was almost 2 in a car accident. And so my mother, which was a godly woman, preaching and everything, raised 7 children, going to church every time the church door is open. You understand? And so I grew seeing a very strong woman in the home who didn't have to ask anyone anything to make decisions. And now I'm coming out of that home to be a submissive, godly wife. So therefore, that was the transition for me to now learn submission and not see it as weakness. Because
Yes.
sometimes persons
Wow.
will think if someone forces it, It is different from you being willing, and God says submit to each other. And I think if persons truly understand what it is to submit in love, I think that was the greatest transition for me, to learn to really submit and not just be focused on myself, because I thought I was okay. But when you get to someone who has a different opinion from you, different upbringing from you start to realize, oh, I'm not that perfect after all. I'm not responding the right way. I'm not handling this the right way. You start to see yourself in a different way from what everybody told you were before. Because before getting married, I was seen as a total angel. Anyone who got married to me, they're getting a prize. But then when the conflicts start, you realize that, oh, I am not such a prize after all. It's only God that can help me. No, to realize there is a fault with me. You understand? And when
Yes.
I start to see myself, then I stop trying to change him to be who I want him to be. And I start to allow God to change me to be who God wants me to be. So when God starts to work on me, I start to see less problems in him. And that was the transition, as I said. Because a lot of times we try to fix our husbands instead of allowing God to fix us so that we can be who the husband needs, because that is how God will help him to be transformed. So that was the transition for me.
Wow. That is just so profound. And it is so true. It is so true. And she mentioned that growing up, seeing a strong woman, and no, you are going to be submissive. And it's true. You feel, at times, you feel as though it's weakness to just come now and just to flip the script and just to, like, what? You're that kind of a thing. You're mad.
Right,
Oh,
making decisions to go somewhere, I would normally have to ask anyone. I would just go. If a friend wants something, I would just take out my money and just buy it. And now, oh, we have to talk about it and come to an agreement before the money is spent. Even if someone wants to borrow and you think you want to help them, let me speak to my husband first. And it's a totally different way of operation than how you lived before. And you have to be willing to do it, realizing that you are now one. You're no longer two separate persons. You're now one.
so true. Thank you so much, Camille,
You're
for
welcome.
sharing that. That is just so profound. Go ahead, Jasseth, and share with us your
Oh
transition
boy.
phase.
The transition phase for me was very difficult, extremely challenging. As I'd mentioned previously, coming from a household of only females, four of us as females, no males. And so it actually threw me off my feet. Coming home now to be with a man, not a boy, to be with a man and to begin to experience what some men are like, or what my husband is like as a man. It really hit me. It really hit me hard. It really hit me hard because my dad died when I was just entering high school, so I did not have any father figure throughout all my high school years, and even up until the point I was getting married. So it was kind of challenging, not knowing what to expect and stuff like that. And I remember the first 7 years of our marriage was the most difficult. you know I personally would seek a quarrel with him. No, he's the kind of person that is totally quiet, 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 quiet. You know, say silent river run deep, but he was not a troublemaker though, and he's not a boisterous person. He's just quiet and firm, very firm in his deliberations, very firm. And so, we would constantly have our disagreements. He would say something, a one word that just burn you, tear you up inside, and you want to give him, the entire vocabulary
Mm-hmm.
nicely though, those very nice vocabularies, and he would just say one word and it just ripped you apart. And so we would go through that time after time. Now, what also was very challenging for me, I'm not coming from a large household. It's only four. Well, when I came here, he had other relatives here, his parents, his sister, his brothers, the brothers' wives. And so at one point in time, I counted 16 persons here, including children. And I was like, no, this is just too much for me. I mean, I couldn't handle that because I'm not accustomed to so many persons, being in my space or I'm being in their space. You understand? So it was that way challenging for me. If I would have any argument with him, of course, you are kind of close to everybody else, so people can hear what you're discussing. People can hear what you're discussing. I remember that one point in time, we were having an argument and he walked out. I presumed he went upstairs to his mom, or probably his mom heard or whatever. And then she came down shortly after. So when he left, I took down my suitcase and I began packing up my clothes in there. So when she walked in now, so I was packing, so she was unpacking. So I was packing, so she was unpacking. And I was like, Miss, please leave my stuff alone. Talk to your son. You talk to your son. You talk to your son. I said, I'm not accustomed to this because the background where I'm coming from a democratic kind of lifestyle where you're able to express your views clearly, whatever, respectfully, and everything is all right after that. But then, we were not seeing eye to eye on certain issues because, as you know, two different backgrounds, two different people, things are different up here. And so, it took some amount of getting accustomed to. I remember one Sunday, I went to church and a prophetess in the church, I was standing just before midday worship. And she came and she tapped me on the shoulder. She said, I'm coming, Sister Nikki. Come here, come here. And so I went outside with her and she took me to a little corner of the building. And she said to me, Father said to tell you, stop nagging Brother Clive. Anytime you ask him to do something and he don't do it, you come to me, Nee City, you come to me. Don't nag him. And you see, from that Sunday she told me that, it never left me. And I've lived my life prayerfully like that. I think Sister Camille was talking about it. I lived my life prayerfully like that. Where anything that comes up, I try not to nag him because I realize that if you do nag, you're not going to like the end results. And so, for a peaceful place, you try to hold the rein. With women, we are very with the tongue. And so I just had to learn my place as a wife, a prayerful wife. What's the book? The Power of a Praying Wife? Yes. And so I learned, it was Sister Glennis Allen, I believe, speaking about learning in silence.
Yes,
that was one of the most profound lessons for me during that period of time, learning in silence. After the lady came to me and told me, God said that I mustn't nag Brother Clive. And so I don't think I've ever nagged him after that. Everything else I just go and pray. If I ask him one or two times and it's not done or whatever, we just go to God in prayer about it. I don't have to kneel on and pray now. Wherever it is, wherever I stand is my pulpit. Wherever I sit is my throne. So I don't have to go kneel on and go pray. So I will talk to the Lord about it. You understand? Yeah, and it has been very well after that. Very well after that. But the transition, once that was out and most of the persons moved out, we're the only ones left now. And so I'm not having that much persons here except when it's some I'm gathering or whatever it is. But we have learned to lived and compromised with each other. That's the most important thing I realize. One of the most important things in marriage, compromission. We're able to meet each other part way. This not working out, so and so, so and so. How this was the best way forward for everybody concerned. Because not just us now. Remember now that we have children as well. So we have to ensure that whatever it is that we are planning will mutually benefit everybody else as well. So it has been a learning process. I'll do it again though. I'll do it again. I'll do it all over again. Same person all over again.
Awesome. I tell you, I just love this conversation tonight. It is real and just profound. These are the things. And I'm just sitting here and laughing. I said, God, thank you for vision. Oh my God. Yes. These are the things. Because in truth and in fact, we really don't hear these real stuff in church on a general day. We really don't. And I'm just sitting here and just smiling that, wow, I love this. This is just so real and just right down to earth. And now we are going to throw in that bonus before you just, after we're going to do our bonus question, and then you are all going to leave a few tips about 2 or 3 with our listeners as to how they can keep their marriage and how they can be all that they need to be to let it flow and grow and be. So the bonus is, when you are upset as a wife, do you still do all that you need to do? Go ahead, Nicola.
Wow, why are you picking on me now? All right. So the thing is, when you are upset at that point, you are 100% going to do all the wife duties. But don't wait too long to get rid of that feeling, right? But as I was saying, when you work out that problem and you make up, and I love as I said, I love the makeup part. I don't know if I deliberately get in trouble because I love the makeup part, but I love the makeup part. But you know, when you're upset, when the misunderstanding come, you not feel sex. You just want to be alone for that moment, because sometimes we are upset, and I'm telling you, I think I heard Jasseth say it, sometimes we more just say go. And I remember one day, I don't remember what my husband was saying. He was in the kitchen, I was standing between the room and the bathroom, and the Holy Ghost just leave me up in the corner and say, shut up. And I didn't say a word. I didn't say another word. He said to shut up, don't answer him, shut up. And that was resolved. So sometimes we as ladies, sometimes we are so quick to if he said A, we say B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and we are going on and on as if we're running a marathon. But sometimes we just need to keep quiet. We just need to keep quiet so that things can run smoothly. Because, you know, when you're in your marriage and things running smoothly, oh my God, we have a hallelujah time. Yes.
Awesome. So she likes the after party. Okay, go ahead, Glennis.
Oh Lord. Nicole, I love the after party, man.
Yes.
Well, to be honest, the question you asked, if you do all that you should do as a wife. Well, for me, I know that I still carry out my duties to cook, do whatever I need to do. However, when it come on to the lovemaking part, well, for us, I know we have to work it out before. Because honestly, if I am upset, I am not going to be in the mood for anything. And if I even do please him, it's going to be a halfway thing. I just let him just do what he has to do. And I mean, like, for me, I'm not going to be fulfilled. So for us, we talk out whatever the situation may be, because I'm an extrovert, he's an introvert. So we are complete opposite, right? So that's what we do. We have a problem, we talk it out. And my husband, him love it. So therefore, because he love it, he go talk it.
He go talk it out.
Because he knows. Understand? So yeah, so I'm going to be honest, if things not running right, you're not going to be in the mood for that. And for you to really enjoy each other, you need to be on the same level. So when things not right, really and truly, we work it through. So when they come to that part, it can be fulfilling and enjoy. Like how you say, Nicola, go on. Yeah.
For the after party. And you say he love it, so he has to work it out.
Trust me.
I remember there was a song while I was a guidance counselor. There was a song that I used to sing, and you just let it come back to my mind. He said, work it out. Talk it out. So because he knows that, he makes sure say, all right, come and we work it out and talk it out for the after party.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Camille.
I agree with both ladies. We have to work it out because we want what we want the right way, not just going through the motion. Because you know that women, we know how to fake it, right? But faking it is not the right thing. And as Dennis was saying, you know you're not going to really be fully satisfied if you're just faking it. And at the end of the day, both persons aren't happy, you know. I remember initially when I was married the first couple of years, and we had our arguments, intense arguments, you know, at the point when I was trying the silent thing that Glennis was speaking about. I realized I was humming because I grew up hearing my mother humming when the children used to give problem in the house. And she started to pray and call out to God. She used to hum in the house. So I said, if I can't say my mind, then I'm going to hum. But it used to annoy my husband. So when we did our counseling, I tell you, during marriage, you have to have counseling as well. My pastor said to me, don't hum. Talk to your husband. Don't hum. Let him know what is on your mind. I said, but when I speak what is on my mind, he doesn't like it because I'm going to tell him exactly how I feel, you know? So it is important to be aware that what might work for you can also not work for your partner. So for me, I had to adjust what worked for me in the best interest of working along with him. So both of us would have the better end result. So therefore, when we're working it out, it really work out good.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Camille. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Jasseth.
Boy, ladies, honestly, the makeup always sweeter than the Becks, right? The makeup always sweeter than the Becks. And I must tell you that honestly, something that always bothers me is that I don't want to ever feel I'm condemned by the scriptures. First Corinthians 7, I believe, verse 5. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time that ye give yourselves to fasting and prayer. So that after that ye come again, that the devil tempt you not for incontinency. So that's the only time really when you're really trying not to, hold out on him. As we said in lock shop.
Yeah.
And so I've learned over time that it's not a good thing to do. It's not a good practice to do. God doesn't appreciate that. Neither does our partner. And so, it also leaves yourselves open up for the enemy to kind of wiggle in.
True.
Not through infidelity. Thank the Lord, I've never encountered that. But other little foxes that not divine, unnecessary foxes where if you had just clamp the hole shut or something, fix it up, then they wouldn't have gained entrance in to start an argument or whatever it is. And so I've been learning over the years to, not do that. And when I do that, honestly, he's the first person, I'm not ashamed to say, he's the first person to come back to, Nikki, come man, come. Foolish is not a foolish is a foolish. You cannot beg over that, you cannot beg over that. That's what I'm saying. So, he's always the first person to make the steps to being the more mature one or to having the issues reconciled. I must tell you, I'm not ashamed of that. And I appreciate that as well. I do appreciate that about him. Very much so. So, it's not always left up to us to be the ones to, try to make it up. But he does do his part. And I really admire that. I really admire that. Yes. But the makeup sweeter than the Becks all the while. All the while.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing that. You had me laughing from ear to ear at times. I tell you, some real deep and profound stuff. I'm really happy to have you all here talking and sharing. It was a good pick and a good match, a good set. As we are about to close, I'm going to have you all share at least 2 pointers with us and other married ladies as to how they can keep things going. And we are going to start with Glennis.
Okay. Keep things going. All right. Seeing that we are married, all of us here, 20 years and over, we have to keep working at our marriage. We have to keep the spark in our marriage. So for me, or for us, we continue to date each other. We have date nights. now that we are in lockdown with COVID, our anniversary was during COVID. So we had our anniversary dinner at home. And the whole works just the same with our cake, enjoy ourselves and candlelight and the whole works. So you have to learn how to be creative and keep the spark going. So you know, you keep dating each other, keep that part going. We also practice to like text each other during the day, send out little love signals and all of that. We buy each other stuff. We don't wait on special occasions to do those things and all of that. So those things keep the marriage alive, and know you don't take each other for granted. And also continue to treat each other right, respect each other. Keep working at your marriage. As was said earlier, there is no perfect marriage because there's no perfect person. So it's a lot of work. So we have to just put in the work, and for all of us, continue to enjoy our partner, make the best of it. Marriage is a blessing, and more so, marriage is a ministry. Persons can see your marriage and come to know God, you know, because you know persons will have different ideas or their own version what marriage is all about. But we are living examples that marriage work, and it is working. I mean, God, we serve an intelligent God, and God is the one who, you know, ordained marriage, and He know that it can work. So let us all come to do what we have to do, and you know, groom other young couple who are coming on, or persons who are aspiring to be married. Let them understand that marriage is really a blessing, but they have to put God in the center and work at it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Allen, for that.
Welcome.
Go ahead, Mrs. Eubanks.
Thank you. All right. So we have to, for us to keep our marriage going, what we do, communicate, communicate, communicate. Anything that you don't understand, don't think that a soigo. Just talk, get to the root of the problem if there's a problem. My husband don't wait on any special occasion to buy me a gift. We share with each other, right? You don't wait. It's the same chicken, chicken, chicken. I said, listen to me. You have barbecue, grill, curry, fry, all type of chicken. We have to spice it up. This is our relationship. So we have to spice, put everything. We have to invest, right? We have to invest in our relationship, right? And we have to try to please. We please each other. It's not a one way. It's not just me pleasing myself or him pleasing himself. We please each other. Sometimes we talk about it, and you know, you experiment, right? You experiment on each other. Sometimes you might say that you know a soft spot, or you talk about it. Maybe you don't know. And you say, honey, where's your soft spot? You talk about it. You find out what makes him tingle. Yeah, because I am the wife and he's the husband. You know, so he doesn't have to look outside because I am everything to him. Right? So you spice up the relationship and make sure that God is in it. Right? Talk to God if there's a problem and you don't understand. And I heard an old-time minister said, if he's doing something wrong, kill him with love. Whatever he's doing, when you kill him with love, you know, right? You don't give fire for fire, you know. It's like eye for an eye. We're gonna kill them with love. So they can't go look on anybody else because you're getting everything from home. Right? So we have to spice up our relationship and make sure that we satisfy our husband. Because I feel with him, you know. I feel with them. Right? So whatever, sometimes God will put some things in their head. God is the greatest lover, you know. And if you think you don't know what to do, God will show you what to do. You know, if you go outside to find out what to do with your husband, because I feel my husband, so me have to know how to please him, right? So talk to God, right? And communicate, make sure the communication between you and your husband is up 100%. That's my
Thank you
take.
so much, Mrs. Eubanks.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mrs. Fagan. Mrs. Fagan Morris.
All right. Just to add to what has been said, I fully endorse what Glennis and Nicola said. We certainly need good communication. We need to spice it up. I believe in date nights. I believe as well as changing up your roles. You might be a nurse today, you might be a teacher tomorrow, you might change up your hair. There are different things that you can do to make it exciting. Being a Christian doesn't mean that if you see the shorts that you're not going to wear on the road, you can wear it in the bedroom. You can wear certain heels. There are certain things that we won't buy to wear on the road because we're not trying to have others seeing us looking certain ways. But we can have it for our husbands. So don't let them come home and see our hair with things tied up and this long old granny looking, nightgown, your face not looking as if you wouldn't want anybody outside to see you looking like that. So try and make ourselves look attractive to them, because men go by outward appearance. Even though women might not be so looking in that direction, but men, the first thing they see is what appeals to them. So I think we need to keep that going. Sometimes it's just washing the face. Sometimes it's a matter of how you walk. You walk a certain way, you're not going to walk that way on the road, but you're walking past him a certain way and he knows. Or you're just saying, I'm going to go and have a shower. It's just some little things that you can say, and the person knows right away what direction that they need to go in. Men like those things. They like to be teased. And I think as godly women, we can tease our husband because he's our own husband. Nothing is wrong with teasing him and pleasing him. Make him brag about you to his co-workers. Make his co-workers say, boy, I want a church girl too. Because they are seeing that a church girl don't mean that you're boring. You're still making this man so happy that he's not even looking in any other woman's direction. And that is something wonderful. Sit and watch movie together. If he likes watching the game, you can watch a game with him. You might not like that sport, but he enjoys it and you're spending quality time with him. Have some family night where you're playing games for those who have kids. Incorporate the kids so the kids can see you and your partner enjoying each other. You're playing games together, you're probably helping with the schoolwork together, but do things together so that the children will have something, just like how Glennis grew up in a very good home, that she saw something that she can emulate and follow. Have our kids see godly marriages being something that they will desire. So that's my 2 pence.
Thank you very
You're
much,
welcome.
Mrs. Morris.
You're welcome.
Okay, go ahead, Mrs. Maxwell.
Give him something he can feel. Let him always want more of you. You find what works for him, you find what works for you. So give him something he can feel. When him go outside, go to road, wherever, if him even they drive past and see somebody that they short shorts and thing, when he remember what he has at home, Lady Samantha, he pick up the phone and call you, make a U-turn, come straight home. When he come back home, he say, how you reach back home so early? Now some see something around, I have to come back home to what is better. So give him something that he can always remember. And can I tell you, not many people, and I've always been saying this in the forums that I do get to speak on or in, we have never really, as Christian women or saved people, heard many messages being preached from Solomon. And I always say, God, you put that book right in the middle of the Bible, Songs of Solomon. Why is it that nobody is preaching from it? That is our go-to. That is our manual. Role
Yes.
play, get into the character, go to Songs of Solomon. If you're in drama at school and stuff, you put on your gears and stuff and you go and read Songs of Solomon chapter 1. Read through. You read, he reads. Everybody has their part. Role play. Find what works for you. If the maid works for you, then find it. If the teacher works for you, the nurse works for you, whatsoever it is, get in character and go with the flow. It works. Spice it up. Spice it up, okay? Yes. Leave him wanting more.
I love it.
Yes, leave him wanting more. Leave him wanting more. When he goes down to pray, we say, God, I thank you for Samantha. Thank you for Samantha. Samantha treat me good tonight, man. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, man, make him talk in tongues. Make him call her.
It's worship. It's worship. It's worship.
Hallelujah.
It's worship. Yes. It's worship. You never get in the spirit yet. You're just in awe, thanking the Lord.
Yes.
God actually sent you a wonderful package wrapped up in everything. You understand? Everything that you need in the package, and all you're left with is just to be glorifying God and thanking the Lord. It happens. It's worship.
Yes.
Amen. Worships. Okay. It's worship. So worship the Lord. Yes. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Within the confines of where we are allowed to go.
Right.
Yes. Stay in the parameters of where we can go. But Songs of Solomon never get stale. And if you don't believe me, you try reading it tonight. Role play it tonight.
Yes.
Songs of Solomon. Yes, man.
Amen.
Any verse, any chapter. Your pick. Your choice. Keep it spicy. And the older that we get is the more diverse I think we can become. Don't just think that because you're getting older and things have to stay the same way all the time. No. And sister Nicola, I think, or Sister Camille mentioned that sometimes the Lord gives you creative things. You pray and ask. I mean, I've been in situations before where not feeling well and not really tired of the same old. Not on his side, not on my side and thing. And me just start pray. I'm gonna say, Lord, you have to show me how to handle it tonight. You need to show me how to handle it tonight. What do I do? What can I do differently? To allow both of us to reciprocate.
Right.
And it has happened time and time again. Time and time again. So just keep it going. Let the sparks fly. Let the sparks fly. Find what works for you and what works for him.
That's right.
Talk to each other. I talk a lot to my husband, so I say, no, don't touch me here. I don't like it here. I'm not feeling anything here. Don't touch me here, so you talk.
Yes.
True.
Sorry.
Oh my. I see a different side of her tonight. This is our department. This is our department.
In our zone.
Yes.
So much so.
This is our department. That's the different side.
So.
Oh my. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing tonight, for sharing with us on Broken to Be Blessed Network, where we have testimonies, empowerment, and inspiration. Thank you, audience, for your support, for watching, for sharing. Remember to subscribe because you don't want to miss all that is happening right here. Tell your friends, your co-worker, your neighbors, everyone you know that a great network is right here. Thank you so much. Thank you again, ladies. Thank you, audience, and have yourself a wonderful rest of the evening. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, ladies. A pleasure meeting you all.
Bye. It was a pleasure.
Yes, same here.
Bye.
Bye.